with, Team USA. So, he ultimately could be that guy. Sears is going to be a first-team All-American, though.
Yeah. And is a legitimate, I've mentioned this with both he and Janai Broom. I think they're both legitimate Naismith Player of the Year candidates, and Milroe's a legitimate Heisman candidate. So while maybe not faces of the sport, both of them could win the sport's biggest award for sure, or their sport's biggest award.
Cooper Flagg. Thank you, landmine believer.
Cooper Flagg, yes, going into Duke.
So if Jalen Milroe is, in fact, your first-team All-American quarterback to end the season, I would think it's safe to say Alabama, and I don't know how many schools have had this. Do you think any school's ever had the first-team All-American quarterback and a All-American first-teamer in basketball?
So the first-team All-American quarterback and a first-teamer in basketball.
Be tough to do. Quite the needle to thread.
I would go back to the Tebow era at Florida that coincided with Billy Donovan having it going.
It's a good call. So Tebow in 2007 won the Heisman.
Okay.
They won the national championship. So, you already drilled it. Good job.
Well, yeah, but I don't.
I think Horford, Brewer, Brewer, and Joe Kim were probably all first-teamers.
First-team All-Americans, you think?
I think at least two were. Yeah, Joe Kim Noah had to have been. I think Al Horford probably was.
All right, let me pull up the All-American.
And I think Corey Brewer might have been.
Well, I look at this. Hydrolide bringing you the early part of the show here.
Very important that you stay hydrated. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. Boost that immune system with HydroLife therapy. IV therapy treatments packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety. Ask about membership. Very important. You can recoup that IV membership in just one visit. HydroLife therapy open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. 2 locations here in Birmingham, Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone. Also Tuscaloosa. Again, mention next round 20% off any of those great services. For more information, hydrolifetherapy.com.
How about Noah was second team in 07.
This is going to be 07.
Yeah, 08, just on both sides of it. They didn't have anybody first or second team. Florida didn't. So 07, Noah was only second team.
Well, and let me take that back. So 07 would have been the Heisman, so it would have been the 08 team.
But they didn't have anybody first or second team on 08.
That's amazing.
That is pretty incredible, as good as they were. So your 08 first team was DJ Augustine at Texas, Michael Beasley at Kansas State, Chris Douglas Roberts at Memphis, Tyler Hansborough at North Carolina, and Kevin Love at UCLA.
Hard to argue.
It's a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Your second team, by the way, Steph Curry is your guard.
Okay, so
how long ago that's been?
I would have put money after you said that. After that came out of your mouth, that you were correct on that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what it would have been.
I don't know where you go. 07, just in case you wonder, Aaron Aflalo, I always struggle to say his name, from UCLA, Kevin Durant, Tyler Hansborough, AC Law, and Alondo Tucker. I don't remember a whole lot about Alondo Tucker. I remember the rest of those guys.
Yeah, AC Law was
really good. A&M.
Yeah,
got Billy Gillespie the Kentucky job.
Yeah.
AC Law, he was like...
I heard some great Gillespie stories at SEC Media Days.
Did you really? Yeah. That is random. Billy Gillespie? Yeah. He's been out... I know who you're talking about, yeah. Like great can repeat them on the air, or great like, okay.
No, I'm not.
Those are good ones then. Yeah. The second team was Noah, Chris Lofton from Tennessee, Nick Fazekas from Nevada, Jared Dudley from BC, and Greg Oden. Durant was first team, Oden was second team.
Yeah, we forget how good Greg Oden was back in the day.
I know, before he got hurt.
Only Final Four I ever went to when him and Mike Conley Jr. played Florida for the national championship.
Yeah. Where was it?
In Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Terrible.
Easy trip.
It was the Georgia Dome. Terrible venue for basketball.
Yeah, I never liked Georgia Dome. Never liked
Welcome in, Braves Country, to the Pennant Grace. We have a very special episode today. We love to bring in our Dodgers correspondent, Reed Taylor, formerly known as the Duke of Denham.
Formerly.
Yeah.
Formally, still
known
but
as
formally
Duke of
known on the
Benham.
show.
Okay.
Like we've referred to you as.
I like it when we have a full room.
I
It
do
feels
too.
good. Yeah, Reed,
It's nice.
thank you for joining us
Hey,
today.
I appreciate it. It is my favorite time of the year.
Really? Well, I guess that makes sense because
Deadline.
your GM aspirations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to heat up a little bit.
It certainly is.
It is.
We
So
have a lot of that today.
We do. We have a lot to discuss. We are going to give our most ideal trades for the Atlanta Braves along with the Dodgers. Reed is going to weigh in on the Braves' current situation. If you did not know, he picked the Atlanta Braves for a fantasy league. And I would like to apologize on behalf of Braves country for that.
Yeah, no, Dunaway's the only one that has
That
to
is
apologize.
true. Dunaway, if you did not know, he claims he did not landmine the Braves. I just don't believe it.
About 12 players will tell you the opposite.
Yeah, I agree. He did say the only thing he said was he hopes Chris Sale stays healthy. And so far, so good. But now that I say that, it could reinstate the bad juju.
We'll see tonight.
I guess so. He is starting. So we have a really significant series coming up that on paper did not look as important until truthfully the last couple of weeks, and that is against the Mets. So the Braves are going to begin their 4-game series in New York after losing a pseudo sweep, if you will, at the hands of the Reds.
Yes. Terrible. What a bad little thing. So you lose 2 games and then you don't get to play the third game. And so that's a team we talked about that is not a bad team, the Cincinnati Reds, but that's a team that's one of the very many in the mix for the wild card in the National League. We look up and down the NL Central. They're basically all in there. There's not a whole lot separating them, although Milwaukee has led the division practically all year, and it feels like have been the class of that division the last several years. So Cincinnati, not a bad team, a great base stealing team, I believe, leads the majors in stolen bases. And Ellie De La Cruz certainly put on a show. That was the only good thing about it, was just watching that guy play.
Yeah, I agree. Reed, I want your take on things. So game 1, Ronaldo Lopez, he's in a sort of a regression of sorts.
Well, I mean, he couldn't keep up what he was doing. I mean, that would have been one of the best seasons in the last 30 years. But I think he's going to be fine. I think that you go through those little spurts, have 2 or 3 starts that aren't the same as the other ones, and he can get it back.
Mm-hmm. Then you bring in poor Alan Winans.
Oof.
That's his full name, poor Alan Winans.
Winans.
Before we get to Alan, on just real quick on Ronaldo, so he did go 6 innings in that game, but 4 runs on 7 hits. I wonder, and I've seen some rumors of an innings limit. We got to remember this guy for the majority of his career has been a reliever.
That's
He's never
true.
pitched as many innings as we've seen him pitch now. He's not used to this workload. Could that have an effect on it? I don't know. I do agree with Reed that it's really not
Permanent.
you just can't think of keeping up that level as being a realistic goal. And you can slip off some from that and still be even an elite starting pitcher.
Yeah. I want to say on this pitching vein in regards to Alan Winans, something interesting took place yesterday. And throughout the season, Reed, we've talked about this. Snit does a very, I don't want to say good job, but he puts an emphasis on saving the bullpen. So he's going to let these guys go. Yeah. Yesterday, he did not. He pulled Winans, some would say even earlier than expected considering his performance. But my question was, in a doubleheader, why pull him? Keep him going. Why bring in the bullpen that early?
I was shocked.
Yeah.
And it was bad. Obviously,
bad.
You know, it was a 4 runs, I believe, in the first.
Yeah, 4 runs in the first inning. Oof.
So the poor Alan Winans has appeared in 2 games this season. 7.2 innings pitched in those 2 games. A 15.26 ERA. Reed, you know a lot about stats. Is that good or bad?
That's not good.
That's not good.
Not good
not
at all.
good. In light of the doubleheader that they thought that they were playing, and going as soon as that is over, you're going straight up to New York to take on the Mets. You would have thought he would have stayed in longer.
Exactly.
And the Reds kept scoring runs after he was pulled.
Right. I was a little shocked by that.
Well, I mean, you would think he'd want him to eat some innings, especially since they have another game scheduled. But do you think maybe he's panicking a little bit, like trying to, I got to change something up, we're in a funk?
Maybe.
Because, baseball's such a feel game.
Yes.
And I think that's one thing that Snitker has always had. He's had a good feel for his team, right? So, is he, thinking like, we're getting pounded again. Let's try to stop the bleeding a little bit, get a little confidence. Maybe our bats can get us back in it. I know it hadn't been hitting well either. But
that's
you just
true.
never know. It's just, that's what's so tough about it. Like me being a Dodgers fan, watching Dave Roberts manage drives me absolutely crazy because he is so by the book. I can tell you what he's going to do. His platoon, he wastes his bench early. Like as soon as they go from a righty to a lefty, and all of a sudden he's dumping his lefties and getting, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But these guys have to have a feel for their team.
Yeah, and Roberts has faced his share of criticism from Dodgers fans on things of that nature as well. Although he seems very well respected and liked, I think just seems like a one of those good guys.
He's had some issues in the playoffs, though. He's gotten outmanaged multiple times.
Yeah, I think you could argue that for the Braves too, especially last October against the Phillies.
Look at you coming with hot takes, man. No one's safe.
I'm gonna know, and I will stand by that.
Yeah.
I have referenced it. I referenced it on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
The issues go back to October for the Braves. And I think, remember when he changed the lineup for that last game, and it was Vaughn Grissom for the last out?
Yeah.
Horrible.
I
mean, am I crazy for saying it?
You are not.
Dude, I just look back at it, look at some of these decisions made in the playoffs that carry over sometimes. It doesn't happen a ton, but you're right. Maybe that has a little bit, I don't know. It's just, sometimes you just start to have a little bit of a bad luck, and having Dunaway on your side doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
Never good.
But, the team's so talented and they've been injuries, you would think they're going to snap back a little bit.
I agree. One glimmer that kind of got lost, I would say, yesterday, Nacho Alvarez. Want y'all's opinions on him. He did have a hit. It was at the expense of De La Cruz's error, but he is here now. Braves country wanted him, and now he's in the lineup.
We'll see. I'm excited about it, and that you could tell the team was excited. Certainly made a pretty big splash, and we'll see. Again, my issues here are not what he's done. It's just simply sample size, and it's so small that I don't want to make too bold of a prediction yet. I want to see how this thing plays out. He doesn't have to do a whole lot to stand out. And going back to what Reed said earlier about the Braves' offensive issues, I wanted to do a little digging and see, because Marcell continues to play well, and I thought, I wonder what all he's leading the team in.
Everything.
So there are 5 major categories there. Marcell Ozuna leads the team in 4 of those. 306 batting average, 61 runs, 28 home runs, and 80 RBIs, leading the team in all of those. What is he not leading the team in? Stolen bases. Who's leading the team in stolen bases? Ronald Acuna Jr., who's been hurt for a very long time with 16 stolen bases. So I hope that the Braves got a little bit watching the Reds on how to steal a base, because that's pretty pathetic that a guy leading your team in stolen bases
who's been out for
this period of time. And then, so what are the other guys doing? Who is not stepping up? And the answer is really no one is stepping up. Look at some of these batting averages, and I realize that batting average isn't the be-all, end-all.
Seeing yesterday, I was telling EG, seeing that lineup, there was only 2 players in that lineup that were batting over 220 yesterday.
Yes.
2.
Yeah.
That's almost impossible.
We made mention on our Twitter to say, could you imagine looking at this lineup in
February?
the spring? Yeah.
It would be, you would think that everyone was absolutely crazy, and I don't even know what you would think.
So Sean Murphy's batting 212. Orlando Arcia is batting 216. Matt Olson is batting 223. Matt Olson had, I'm trying to remember the number. It was double digits. I wish I remember now, but Ben Ingram and Joe Simpson mentioned this on the radio broadcast yesterday. I think it was 16 first-inning home runs from Matt Olson last year.
Wow.
This year, 0, by the way. 0 first-inning home runs. You remember how hot that team was in the first, how they pounced on people. Adam Duvall, 184, and joining Adam Duvall is his outfield brethren, who's also come back, Eddie Rosario, who's also batting 184. That's not good. You're not going to win games.
No.
Those are pitiful numbers right there. You got to have some guys hitting for average.
when you hear it listed out like that, it's not great.
I can hot take you too.
Yeah,
See, I got my hot takes.
I like it.
Well, at what point do you pull the plug on Adam Duvall? Like before, it's tough when you're platooning so much to get consistent at bats, and you might struggle and go through a slump. And your batting average is low, but he's playing regularly now.
Exactly.
That's a great point. I was actually going to bring that up because not only are we seeing struggles to the plate, we're seeing defensive errors at this point.
Yeah, and I love him. We
love him.
Love him.
We love Adam Duvall.
We got to get some guys in there that can hit the ball.
And that does bring us to our trade ideal situations. We'll get to it in a second, though.
Before you do,
we'll get to it in a
I want to
second.
make sure you noticed my shirt today.
Oh, Roback.
Hey, now.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, now. You know what I did? It's interesting that you mentioned that because I went to roback.com and I was checking out, but then when I was going to checkout, I entered code PG20 at
What
checkout.
happened?
What happened there?
Save me 20%. I'm styling and profiling 20% off your order. PG20. You
It's
can't beat
so
that.
easy.
That's the deal of the summer right there.
It really is. Reed, what's your favorite Roback piece?
Ooh,
Can't even pick one.
Reed,
listen, I'm a hoodie guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I probably got.
see, you know a lot of those polos too, though.
True.
Yeah.
But I'll probably during the winter I've got 5 or 6 different hoodies.
Yeah.
Can't beat
Absolutely
them.
love them.
The absolute best.
They are the best. I love if you need a gift for your wife, your girlfriend, girls, if you want to splurge, the athletic dress is fabulous. The skirts, really anything. It's just cute. We also love dogs here on the Pennant Grace, and the logo is a dog.
It is.
Which makes a lot
Rhodesian
of
Ridgeback.
sense.
Can't beat that.
Okay, do we want to do trade situations now, or do we want to do a quick little Dodgers check-in? What are we feeling?
Let's check in on the Dodgers first, if that's okay.
Well, looking at the chat, there's talk about James Paxton.
Perfect.
Okay, so we can go there.
Let's go there.
My thing is, I've watched him probably start 14 games this year. He started a little bit more than that, but I've seen bits and pieces of it. He's just not consistent. Like a couple games, he looks really, really, really good. And then he gets a little bit wild, and then people start teeing off on him. I'm shocked they designated him for assignment. But I also think that means they have talked to some teams, and they're going to end up trading him within the 7-day period, right?
Okay.
The Braves would not surprise me if they jumped in on that because there's a relationship there already with AA and Andrew Friedman
Right.
and Brandon Gomes. And so I could definitely see them moving in that direction. But they did that. They, designated for assignment. They got Kershaw coming back today.
Yes, I want to chat
which
about that.
I absolutely love Kershaw.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping he's not a shell of himself.
Yes.
And then tomorrow night, they've got – no, it was last night, Kershaw today. They've got Buehler starting in AAA.
Okay.
He's going to make one more start if he gets through it. And then they still have Yamamoto on the DL. Dustin May's done for the year now because while he was on the DL, he had some kind of huge throat issue and had emergency throat surgery.
Holy cow.
He's done for the year. And they don't know what's really going to happen with Yamamoto either.
I want you to paint the picture because we like to stay in the Braves bubble on this show for our audience. Kind of give them a rundown of the pitching woes you guys are experiencing right now.
Well, I was telling you a couple days ago, their starting 5 on the DL, I think, could have been a top 7, 8 rotation in baseball.
Household names,
Without
too.
question.
I mean, it's crazy, but right now they've got 3 different rookies that have started in the last 5 games for them. One of them just got moved back down to the minors where they can make room for a couple other moves they made, and it was because Miguel Rojas was starting at shortstop for Betts. He got hurt. They picked up Nick Ahmad from
today, right?
Yeah, well,
Or
he made the start
yesterday?
last night,
Okay.
and he was a Diamondback forever. Went to the Giants in the offseason, started opening day for them, and then ended up getting cut. And then, of course, his first game's back against the Giants.
Yeah.
It did not help. They got beat 8-3 last night.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was a little bit of a rough game, but that was also the first game they've lost since the All-Star break. So, they're winning games.
They are.
But if you look at their lineup some nights, it's almost like the Braves lineup yesterday. There's
Yeah.
guys, they got 2 or 3 guys batting under 200.
Yeah.
And they're waiting for people to get healthy, but I do think they're about to make a move.
Both teams have had such injuries this year. The Braves, though, more spread out. The Dodgers, the hit they've taken on starting pitching is I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a rotation go through what they've gone through this year and be a team that has consistently led their division all year, usually keeping whoever is in second, because that's changed right now at San Diego, usually around 7 games or more. And so a credit to the rest of those guys for holding it together. From a non-Dodger fan, I don't think anyone wants to see Clayton Kershaw come back and be a shell of himself. The guy's a Hall of Fame guy, one of the most likable guys to me in baseball, one of the all-time great competitors. And, you don't like seeing anyone of the greats. You never want to see them in that diminished role. So hopefully he comes back for you guys and looks like Clayton Kershaw.
I do want to give you guys a stat real quick. And our friends at the Hammer Territory, they're also a great Atlanta Braves podcast. They brought this to my attention today. The Atlanta Braves have given up the fewest runs by a team this season.
Yeah.
Well, the Atlanta Braves.
That's not surprising to me. I told you at the All-Star break had the best ERA. So I'm not surprised by that. Now, let me paint this picture for you guys. If I give you that stat, and they did this on their podcast, if I give you that stat in February, the Braves will have given up the fewest runs in the MLB. What would you say the record would be? I'd say they have the best record in baseball.
Yes.
Hands down.
I mean, they're probably 25 games over 500.
Right.
Yeah. Not the case.
Not the case.
Pretty crazy.
But, I mean, think about it, though. You got 2 guys that are basically Cy Young finalists. You're going to have, if Lopez doesn't completely go way off now, him and Sale have been awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, 40% of the rotation.
Yes.
So that doesn't surprise me, but it goes back to the hitting, and it's just been bad.
It doesn't feel good. Let's go on to some trade situations.
Spicy.
Because we did talk about Paxton. And Reed, I want you to give us one for the Dodgers, and then we'll circle back to you on an ideal one for the Braves.
Yeah, I want to see if you say is who. I got a couple that I thought the Dodgers might go after.
Well, and I think there's a couple that the Braves will also be involved in as well, right?
Agreed.
I mean, right now there's so many teams that are still in the playoff hunt. It's a seller's market, right? Because they're going to overpay. I mean, these teams are going to overpay for some of these guys.
Absolutely.
But there's a couple guys that I think are still elite guys out there right now. One's a Crochet kid from the White Sox for Scott's team.
Yep.
Forrester.
Him and Luis Roberts.
Yep.
And there's
Scott, come on. What do you know? What do you tell us?
My team is going to look a lot different in the next week or so.
Yeah.
Is that
going to lose everybody?
Gotcha. Yeah. Is that someone you hate to? Obviously, you hate to lose someone of that caliber. What do you see him bringing to another team?
We're talking Crochet.
Yes.
I mean, he's good enough to be almost anybody's ace.
Yeah.
Like him on his A game, like he's a strikeout machine.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's big time right there.
his age is a big point too, right? I mean, he's not a veteran, like a true veteran by any means. I mean,
He's already on the other side of a Tommy John surgery too.
That's true.
That's already happened.
Like that. I like that.
yeah. But I mean, the other part of that too is Luis Robert. Like that guy's got all the talent in the world. He's struggled a little bit. He's had some injuries, but I watched him last night, and he hit a just missile down the left field line that probably was only 15 feet off the ground, flew out in probably 2 seconds. I mean, the guy can flat out hit. Yeah. I mean, he can flat out hit. So I think they're going to be involved a little bit with the Dodgers. I think, the kid, and I can't even tell you how to say his last name for the Tigers.
Scooble?
Yes.
Scooble.
Yeah.
There's a chance. I doubt they do anything with him, but I know that teams have checked in with him from everything I've read. And then I think the Dodgers are going to look at Arozarena too.
That for Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the guy that the Braves are going to look at too.
Yes.
He got off to an horrendous start.
Right.
And he's been much better lately, but the guy has also been so clutch in the postseason for them. So I think he'll be a big plus. And if he goes to the Dodgers or the Braves, he doesn't have to be their number one hitter.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, once Betts gets back, he might be the fourth, fifth hitter on the Dodgers and probably, be you can get Olsen hitting a little bit,
Yeah.
maybe the fourth
Ooh.
or fifth, best hitter on the Braves as well.
Yeah.
Do we know for sure if those teams are sellers? I would imagine so. With Tampa,
The
that division
yeah.
is so stacked this season,
Yep.
and they've been consistently at the bottom of it. So I'm assuming that they will. Detroit has been close to the bottom.
Yep.
But they're not a terrible team by any means.
No, they got a couple guys that Flaherty's in the last year of his contract, right?
That's
I mean, he's on
true,
a
yeah.
1-year deal or whatever, so he's going to be a rental for somebody, and so I 100% think he's going to go somewhere. And
Yeah.
I think it would be a good fit for the Braves. I think it could be a good fit for the Dodgers as well.
So you think there's gonna be a lot of overlap with?
Dodgers and Braves,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, listen, I don't know of a team that doesn't look for starting pitching at this point, right?
Yes.
I mean, so
Right.
there's not many people that are going to be difference makers because you have so many teams that are involved in the playoffs or the playoff hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these guys are going to be back and forth, between 4 or 5 different teams.
Yeah. I have one, and this is an outfield, Brent Rooker
Yeah.
from the A's.
Yes.
So I have him for a few reasons. One, I think, and you touched on the relationship that the Braves and Dodgers have. The Braves and the A's have a great relationship, working wise. Most notably, Matt Olson
Matt Olson and Sean Murphy.
and Sean
Yeah.
Murphy. So I think that he could provide the bat that the Braves so desperately need. He had 30 home runs in 2023, and this year he has 28 home runs with 69 RBIs in 2024.
He's only 29.
Yeah.
I would love to see Brent Rooker in a Braves uniform.
Now, it's going to be costly, though, when we don't have a very extended farm system.
It is no longer considered an elite farm system.
No.
It's not a bad farm system, but it's kind of middle of the road as far as what they can offer up.
Well, let me give you guys a scenario in which I feel like we could afford Brent Rooker or Luis Roberts. It would be a few top prospects in Drake Baldwin, the catcher,
Okay.
AJ Smith-Shawver,
Ooh, that
and you're going to hate the third one,
Hurts.
Hurston Waldrop.
yeah, that hurts.
But
me.
I think
I am hurt.
you're hurt,
I
but
feel pain. Right now.
what I mean,
You're hurting me, EG.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to
What
pay.
do you think,
Well,
Reed?
you're gonna have to pay.
But it's so tough to hold on to prospects
Yes.
because so many of them don't pan out.
I know.
And
Smith-Shawver.
I think as fans, we fall in love with some of these guys because we
Right.
see, hey, they're number 3 on the Braves farm system and all that. And you think about all these trades in the past that I mean, look at perfect example. Look at what the Braves traded to the Oakland Athletics for Olsen and Murphy.
right.
Who's done well that's gotten up there? I mean, I know they got a couple guys playing, but they wouldn't be starting on the Braves.
no.
So that is, I mean, like I said, I think as fans we fall in love with these prospects. But if you can get a guy that's proven that can help you win,
Exactly.
I think you got to go with that.
And again, this ideal trade markup is solely, I did not read that anywhere. That is just my GM brain
Yep.
picking some people. So don't spread a rumor that I have this inside scoop that all these guys are going to be traded. But I think that's the package you have to go with.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a lot of excess out there. So
Man, I hate losing those two.
yeah, but I think that I would rather have a Brent Rooker who we know is strong at the plate. He's on track to have a better year than last year,
How
too.
bad it would hurt y'all if y'all see Rooker in a Phillies uniform.
More pain. I'm feeling so much pain today.
Please no. Please
Today
no.
is all about pain. So I had Brent Rooker on my
Okay.
list as well, and I also have an infielder on my list, and that's Brendan Rodgers.
I had
of the
him
Rockies.
listed too.
27 years
Yep.
old. Good article on Bleacher Report by Joel Reuter. Batting 261. He's defensively good, and he's a super utility guy, so they can move him around in that infield, and that's becoming more and more needed for the Braves as well, as that infield is struggling offensively. And without Ozzie Albies there, the need is great.
Trading for Rockies always scare me because of
Of course,
hitting at
Phil.
home. Yeah. Hitting at home and depending on what their splits are. But I'll tell you, I think Jonathan India might be available,
Right.
and he would be a really good fit for y'all right now. Now, I don't know what you do with him with Albies comes back.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe he can play a little short, but the Reds have too many middle infielders.
Right.
So they're probably going to move him and probably get a good value out of him. But looking at it, the Yankees have been mentioned there. that guy can flat out hit.
Yes.
I mean, he struggled early this year, but he's turning it on, and look what he's done since he moved in the leadoff spot for them.
And that's after he was faced the curse of the Black Pearl. So, yeah, who knows what he can do.
One thing.
He looks like Jack Sparrow. That's the joke, everybody. I have several more, too, by the way.
Well, yeah, but before you
Okay.
say this, I do want to kind of interject this as well. So Buster Olney was on the next round today, and he gave a great little tidbit when it comes to the Braves being buyers. And he said this. He says, I do think if they are going to win, that they have to do something. They are limited by what they can because of the farm system. Don't go nutty. In the end, the Cubs, Yankees, Braves are in the same boat. Guys have to play better. So mediocre for stretches.
Don't go nutty.
Don't go nutty.
Yeah.
But I want to preface that with, at a certain point with all of these trade discussions, Matt Olson has to step up. Guys like that.
For sure.
Dude, he's such a big part of that.
Right.
For sure.
He has got to get going. Austin Riley, we've seen glimpses. So with that being said, now let's see the rest of your
I
trades.
love it because Monday we got the all sweet EG, and then Thursday, she's getting them. Knives out.
I
So-
know. I was sweet on Monday. Saying don't
So a
hate
lot
him.
of names here, and I a ton of them. I just have a few, but this is from an article on CBS Sports from Matt Snyder. So let's go with starting pitching. Names I saw: Garrett Crochet with the White Sox, Jack Flaherty with Detroit, and Zach Eflin with Tampa.
Oh, Zach Eflin. We forgot to mention him.
Yeah, I saw Luis Robert, who we mentioned with Forster's White Sox, and then who we talked about previously, Jazz Chisholm with the Miami Marlins.
See, he's interesting to me.
Yes.
Because supposedly his personality is
A lot?
yes.
Yes.
And it gets tricky when you're trying to get these people into your clubhouse.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would take it with them.
I think whether it's real or perceived, I think that it is going to hurt his stock
I do too. I think
because
there's
of those concerns.
But like the Marlins, that guy's not costing them a ton of money. There's a reason they're open to letting him go.
Right.
Right. I mean, he's still got a couple years of control, I think. But his personality, I mean, some of these guys, man, it's tough. I'm a guy that's huge on, on how the locker room is.
Absolutely.
And he scares me to death.
Yeah.
Let's stay on this vein now that I'm in more of a feisty mood.
Right.
Bauer. What are our thoughts?
So this was discussed on the next round today.
It was. I think somebody should probably give him a shot. Mm-hmm. But I can see why teams don't want him. It's not the allegations,
Yeah.
and a lot of those obviously turned out to be false or whatever. He's got that personality. When he signed with the Dodgers, I was pumped. Mm-hmm. And then I started to see how he does. He walks into spring training every day. I saw it where he's got his YouTube rolling, and he's got his camera, and he puts everything out there. Have y'all seen him on YouTube
I haven't
recently
seen it.
pitching in the Mexican League?
No.
So he talks, and he's mic'd up, and he's taking video. Somebody he's got with him that's part of his team is doing all the videos. So he's talking, and right before he throws a pitch, he's like, I don't know if I need to go with a slider. I think I'll go with this. And he's like,
Oh.
it's crazy.
Ooh.
I don't.
It's odd.
He's such a big personality. I don't think he's elite.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should probably give him a chance, but I wouldn't want him for my team. I mean, there's
That's
a reason
lot.
That is a lot.
I mean, there's a reason when all that stuff came out, the Dodgers supposedly had moved on before, like, all of it really got all the way out. And then, like I said, a lot of it all of it turned out to be false, whatever. But the players were happy to see him go.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I think because he hasn't been signed yet, after a lot of things were settled, debunked, however you want to word that people weren't going after him, said there's something else there in the term as far as baggage goes. And I can't believe he's doing that. You're not getting Mexican League talk on other shows, everyone. We
No,
got
you're
all
not.
the scoops here on the Pennant Grace. That would be great content. We could do a lot of those things ourselves, from like
go down to Mexico for
I think
the
I'm
league?
gonna no, it's just
Oh.
everyday stuff. I think I'm gonna have this turkey sandwich. No, I'm gonna go with ham. Let's see how that works out. I'm gonna go with a ham sandwich now. It's all film.
I think we do need to have a camera on you 24/7.
I think so too. I think
too.
it'd be good for the brand.
I think so too. We need a cameraman for it.
If-
Rockstar.
I'm just frustrated Brown didn't lose the challenge.
I know.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, back when bracket punishments were being discussed, it's a big deal here at the next round.
It's a big tradition.
It's a
It
big
is.
tradition.
A tradition like any other.
There
you could
go.
say. And people get personalized punishments. And so by people, I mean the big 3 men who are sitting at this desk.
Yeah.
So Brown he had to be handcuffed to my co-host for 24 hours.
Yeah. That's not, that doesn't seem like a punishment. That seems like a reward for someone.
That would have been.
No shot to you, by the
Yeah,
way.
I'm a lot of
none.
fun to be around.
Yeah.
I don't want to be handcuffed to anybody for 24 hours.
24
Yeah, it's a
hours.
lot.
And I think it started on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And it would have gone Sunday to Monday. And y'all had to sleep here too.
It's sick that they thought of that, and it's sicker that I agreed to it.
What was
That's the real sickness there. That's no turning back at that point.
That was before the Pennant Grace too.
It was.
Yeah.
Or right around that time anyway.
What was Lance's again? Oh,
He had to go to both Alabama. If you know Lance, he does not even go into semifinals.
the Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl leaves games at halftime, right?
Yeah.
So
Can
his
confirm.
punishment was he had to go to Alabama and Auburn's A-Day games and stay for the
Stay the
entire
whole time.
game. Had to get an autograph, and we got to dress him for each game.
Yeah. And didn't he have to interview, tried to do interviews too?
Yeah. it
Basically,
was-
he had to take it very seriously.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to get in line for autographs and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
And then Dunaway's obviously ways we traipsed around the state of Alabama
Right.
shooting threes
with my son's basketball
Basketball.
that I pulled out of the creek that morning.
Absolutely.
Hey, before we move on, I'm going to get to Nick makes a good point here because we haven't talked about this. He said, I'm hoping something comes out of the player-only team meeting they had the other night.
Great
Have you heard any
point.
fallout from that meeting?
No, I heard that it was taking place. Snit was not present, and after that, they gave up 4 runs in the first inning. That was the extent.
They were taking it in. They still hadn't let it all process.
Yeah,
I guess so.
the wheels were turning.
I usually, from what I've gathered, that meeting usually takes place earlier.
Let me ask you this: who do you think led that meeting?
Yeah,
which players?
That's a great question.
That is a great question, considering Austin Riley was not there because of paternity.
Ozzie Albies is not
Ozzy's
there.
not. Acuna's not there.
Right.
Michael Harris is not there.
Could have been Travis Darno. Could have been
I could see
Matt
Darno.
Olson.
I could see Darno.
Matt, I could see.
Yeah, I could see that too.
And I don't see Sean Murphy.
But you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
I wish someone inside the clubhouse would give us this information.
I do too.
If you just want to DM us, we won't tell who did it, who said anything.
Absolutely not. We're great with
We
secrets.
really are. But that is an interesting question. I don't know. I feel like in a normal season,
Right.
Azuna. Nick says Azuna could have called it
Okay.
and let it. I don't know.
Nick's got all
Yeah.
the scoops.
I know. Nick, do you work for the Braves? Be
Yeah.
honest. Are you trying to lead us in the right direction of
Yeah. The Yankees and even the Red Sox, who are still in this.
They are. They're playing. I think they had the best record in baseball
They're-
for the last 60 games.
They've been playing really well. I could see all 4 of those teams. So I'm going to go with a safe bet and say the big dogs there.
Yeah.
real quick, I might throw a wrench in things. Depending on how this series goes with the Braves, I could see the Mets making some significant moves.
Absolutely.
They got the resources.
They
They
have
do.
the resources, and if we come back on Monday and the Braves have lost that series,
What do you think that they're missing though? What do you think they need to do?
I don't know. I'm anticipating watching that series this weekend, and I feel like I'll have a better answer then. But I think they are a complete enough team, more complete than the Braves.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to come back to on Monday.
Yeah.
And see. Baltimore's a great team. When the Braves played them, I was so impressed with the Orioles. Do they have the resources? Are they all in?
I think they are, and I think they got the resources. But a couple of their prospects are supposed to be so good,
Right.
that I don't think they'll. I mean, I don't think their first or second prospect will get moved. But they're in on Skubal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Another team in on him. That's true. I did see that.
Yeah.
Let's come back to that on Monday, and Reed,
Okay.
if you have time, let's all kind of weigh in, or we can wait till next Thursday and do a full recap of what's happened.
I think, yeah.
All the above.
All the
yeah,
above.
All of those things.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Before we do Mets little preview, let's just do quick updates. So Austin Riley is off of the paternity list. I love the paternity list. That whole thing just makes me happy. I just like the energy of
Maybe
it.
that's why he got off to a slow start.
Maybe.
He was thinking about the baby.
Yeah,
and
they
now
named him
he's ready to
Bo.
go.
Yeah.
Pregnant wives,
Right,
you know,
right.
they're no fun.
Michael Harris will be out until at least August 14th.
Yeah.
So that
it's taking a long time.
he has not, as far as been reported, not been in the cage yet. He's not doing full sprints. I guess you risk re-injuring those hamstrings.
I guess.
And then one thing too, Atlanta to host the All-Star game next year, rescheduled from 2021. Yep. What are y'all's thoughts on the logo?
I give it a C.
I give it an F.
Wow.
Another hot take.
Hot takes.
I hate it.
I haven't seen it.
All right, let me show it to you real quick.
I give it a C because it looks pretty
like,
basic and generic.
It looks like Dallas.
Well, I hated the uniforms.
Horrible.
Absolutely hated them.
Horrible. Pajamas is what Bob Costas called them. I agree.
Pretty good call.
Real bad. Let's just scrap that whole thing. I understand it's to make money. You have to have as many jerseys as possible to sell those. But man, I miss players playing in their own jerseys.
I'm with you. C.
Give that a C? Yeah.
It's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's not great.
Queen of hot takes here.
Well,
ain't taking that.
This is my thing. It looks like Dallas. I don't know why. The Stars, I guess. I don't know.
Cowboys.
The Cowboys. Love the DCC cheerleaders. You guys go look this up while I'm chatting about it. The A is cool in the All-Star game, but give me the Atlanta skyline. Like, give me something that's Atlanta.
Yeah.
You want a peach in there or something?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I think the 2021 one was much better. Mm-hmm. That was supposed to be 2021.
Yeah, that one is a lot better.
Yes, agree.
Yeah. So that's why I give it an F, and you guys let us know what you think.
Yeah, I want to see that. Get that.
And Nick, we're
rating.
talking about the All-Star game jerseys.
Yes.
Just horrible.
Yeah.
Josh Pate made a great point, and he said, this is another example of when, thank you, Forrester. Oh, incredible. That is the logo, guys.
Yeah.
Right there. Thank you.
Just a C logo to me. Doesn't elicit F.
I
know a lot about it. I got lots of F's back in the day, and that's not F work. Okay,
Yeah.
That's C work.
Anyways, what was I saying? I just forgot.
The All-Star uniforms.
Oh, Josh Payton, right. He said that is an example of people that do not love sports or are involved in sports making decisions about sports.
Sounds right.
I
a lot of
wholeheartedly
these
agree.
City Connect uniforms are
Atrocious.
Awful.
Agreed.
Awful.
Yeah,
Awful.
not a fan.
We're going to wrap on this. The Mets 4-game series. We've touched on it. Set the scene. The Mets are a game and a half back for the National League wildcard spot. And along with the Mets, there are 5 teams within striking distance of the Braves.
Yeah.
We have the Mets, Cardinals, Padres, D-backs, and Pirates.
I just want baseball. I'm just hoping for no rainouts and we get to play these games. So the Mets are 53-48. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games, and they've won 3 games in a row. Braves do have Chris Sale on the mound tonight to lead off that series, leading the team, 13 wins. He's got 140 strikeouts, a 0.95 whip, leading the team in all 3 of those categories.
You better win tonight.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
If not, the way this thing momentum's going and you having your best pitcher lately,
I agree.
You better win tonight.
Better win tonight. Yeah, you need something to stop the narrative that's grown.
Yeah.
So we're calling it right now. We want to win.
Must win.
Yeah.
That's really all I have on this series. I think that you can get into specifics of pitchers and players, but at the end of the day, playoffs matter here.
Yes.
And that's to wrap it up in a bow. If the Braves are not consistent in this series, things will look a lot different.
And I hope we get to see Whit Merrifield.
I do too.
Play.
What's the latest?
Well,
Has he made anything?
Someone fact check me on this.
I think he's fine and ready to go. He wanted to play
that first day.
Yes.
Were stitches involved?
I don't think so, but he's doing all the things, and he says he's hitting and throwing, and he's ready. And so I hope we do get to see him. It depends on how cautious they feel like they can be right now. So I'd love to see him in there. I want to see what he's.
I know he hadn't had a great year.
He is not.
But over the last couple of years, I really love the way he plays the game.
I agree.
And I think speaking of clubhouse guys, I think that's a guy you bring in there that helps with that too.
100%.
Okay. That is going to do it for us here at the Pennant Grace. A really fun episode today. If you missed the first half, go check it out. We had a lot of fun talking not only about the Braves, but also the Dodgers. So a lot of things to look forward to in the next week. Things are going to look a lot different in baseball when we're meeting again on Monday, but even next Thursday. So make sure you don't miss anything. We are live Mondays and Thursdays, 12:15. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media accounts. We love to interact with you guys over there at the Pennant Grace on X, Facebook, and Instagram. And Reed, thank you for tuning in and being a part of things.
I love it. I had fun with you guys.
Awesome. Remember, Rowback gets you 20% off when you use our code PG20 at checkout, and we are so thankful for them as our presenting sponsor. As always, Braves Country, it is a pleasure to have you here at the Pennant Grace.